Hi, good afternoon. It's Valerie Milano here at the Hollywood Times and also as Aspiring Magazine. I am the senior editor, and I'm so happy to have our guest here. And I'm going to let him introduce himself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Valerie. Yeah, my name's Ashley Tabatabai. I'm the filmmaker behind the short film Hamdardi. I'm sure we'll get into it. I wore many hats. I'm an actor first and foremost, but I wrote this, I produced it. It was something that it came from a bit of a family story. So, yes, that's me.
Thank you so much again, Ashley. Hamdardi is an inspiring and informative short film that follows the story of an immigration officer whose inner turmoil awakens his compassion to the plight of two young Iranian travelers caught in the 2017 Trump travel ban on travelers from seven Muslim countries. This is a powerful film that wastes no time getting to the point and gives us an everyman whose sense of what's right gives the audience hope. Ashley, you co-directed this film with Stefan Fairlamb and you wrote it, produced it, and starred in it. Is there anything you can't do?
I
Let's,
mean, I
yeah,
think let's let people watch the film and decide if I can do those things first, right? I
no.
hate the term labor of love.
Yeah, let me just finish this question. You had your hands full. How did you manage to do all those things while making this fabulous film?
You need a tribe. It's as simple as that. A film doesn't happen in a silo. I think the initial idea comes from the filmmaker, the writer, the director, but then you have to be able to make that vision clear and then bring people on board that they can bring their A game so that you can trust them to take the ball and run with it. So this film is only possible because I have great heads of department and great people that came on to help bring this together, let alone the cast who could come in and just, bring these characters to life. So that's what makes it work like any film, which is a miracle that it gets made in the first place, right? So it's the team. I suppose in terms of those jobs, they're very segmented. Like the writing happened well before, we even got into pre-production, and that was kind of done and dusted. There weren't rewrites that happened on the fly. Co-directing was a big one. I knew that I'd need someone like Stefan to come and co-direct with me because I wouldn't be able to have my eye on everything if I'm in the scenes and also wondering where craft services is that day too, right? So I think that was probably the big help.
Yeah. Well, the film makes a statement with your character, Ethan Reynolds, ultimately to choose to defy his racist MAGA boss, Hank Henson, played brilliantly, by the way, by Mitchell Mullen. Is Henson's lack of rage when he confronts Ethan also a statement about perhaps a deeper sense of fairness under the rage of the angry and hateful Customs and Border Protection boss?
Possibly. I think it's open to interpretation, but I think that it was important for us not to caricature the officers, especially that particular character. And so I think it would be easy to go to the extreme and show him in that light. I think it's almost more unsettling that he doesn't do that because the subtlety of the machine is what we're trying to allude to, right? The line "trust the system" comes up a few times in this film. That'll mean whatever it means to the individual viewer, but that was really important to us. And also, I'm really glad you highlighted Mitch because he made a very nuanced performance that I think it was also key to be able to look at that character and you don't have to agree with what he does or what he thinks, but could you understand maybe where that might come from? Could we see the human being in him, which is ultimately a big theme of this film, to see the humanity in everybody, whether we agree or not, isn't so much the point. So that was a big reason why we didn't go and just make him a big, Darth Vader type caricature. It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, the cast is so perfect, particularly Mullen and Helene Maxud, the attorney whose plea leads to Reynolds' crisis of conscience at his own battle over a child. Talk a bit about this amazing cast.
I mean, that's it. That's the word. They are amazing. It is an ensemble piece. Helene is, I always used to talk to her at the beginning in pre-production about that role being the moral compass of the film. And I think her as an actress lent to that so perfectly because she was raised in Canada, but she has Lebanese Syrian heritage. She is from these two worlds, and I relate to that as a British Iranian as well. And so I think she could bring that morality to that role and keep a bit of a balance throughout the narrative. We have Aryan Nick, who plays Reza, the tempestuous young brother, who in the span of the short film kind of goes from adolescence to almost early adulthood and has to grow up and understand how to navigate with dignity. And, dignity is a big word. I think we see it in a character played by Emilio Durgasing, who's Ahmed. He's one of the few who doesn't escape and gets sent back to Syria, but he carries, I called him, he's kind of like the Uncle Phil, I think, of our film. If you think of Fresh Prince, he has that dignity. He's the wise man. And he is such an amazing actor that I wish we could have given more screen time to. And finally, the young girl in our film who was 9 at the time, Isla Rose, this was her first ever acting job. And you would have never known. And she was incredible.
This is kind of a two-parter. As good as the story and acting are, the music is a character in itself, as Howard Carter's score adds a subtle undertone of tension and emotion that truly drives the film. And Adam Lyon's cinematography, he casts just the right visual tone for the darkness of customs detainment. How did these two artists come to be part of this passionate look as an unfair time in our history?
I'm lucky that I, first of all, call them friends and know them as friends, and then have got to work with them over many years on different projects. And I think that goes back to your first question of how we made it happen. Well, it's that tribe, right? And so Adam is an amazing cinematographer. Um, Pretty much everything was shot with natural light. We worked with what we had. We filmed in the summer. We filmed our airport scenes in an events arena, and we had to work with what we had. And he was able to really tell the story with the frame as a good DOP does, through the use of that natural light and through subtle movements at the right times that really instilled either the chaos or the turmoil of the characters, or sometimes being brave enough to hold the frame and have really interesting angles that subtly might reflect what Ethan's character is going through. There's one that people always seem to bring up, which is in a stairwell. He's getting this phone call, being told that, he's not going to get his daughter back, even though he's played all the games of the system as told, and still he doesn't get that fair moment of justice. And this shot is, I would say, 95% like a gray industrial stairwell, and the character's in the bottom right-hand corner of the frame very intentionally to create that feeling of isolation, and we're voyeuristically watching this very personal moment. And as for Howard, again, his score, I think you're right. It does hit the right crescendos at the right times, but very subtly. And I think we didn't bring Howard on at the end. We brought Howard on before we even shot a frame. And so he was able to almost, I guess, stew in what we were doing whilst we were doing it, and really try and get a feel over a year of what the score could be, as opposed to just giving him a locked edit and saying, here you go, here's a story for the first time, give me something. And I think that helped, giving him that time to just really play around and see rough cuts and then deliver what he delivered.
Right. Well, just to start it down a little, tell us, where is the film now? What are you doing with it? And then maybe anything you might be doing next.
So we were lucky enough to get longlisted for the Oscars for this year. We kind of didn't get into the short list, but that journey was an amazing journey to just really spread awareness of the film. We've had our festival runs kind of come and gone. I think we had that last year. We were lucky to go to Phoenix and Rochester and Girona and Madrid here in Europe. And at the moment, we're trying to, I think, get a bit more exposure with it. We have had some very interesting collaborations that I never foresaw when we made the film, but given the current climate sociopolitically, it's quite timely, especially today being Inauguration Day in the US when we're filming this. And so we've partnered with NIAC, who are the National Iranian American Council in Washington, who have done some screenings. They want to do a few more. They're talking about taking it to Capitol Hill and doing some screenings there. And so, we'll see where that takes us. But if, as a storyteller, we can help people come forward with their stories and feel seen or understood and maybe engage in some healthy debate, then I think that ticks an amazing box that we didn't really foresee. So that's the next who knows how many weeks or months for this film. And then I think features is the next step. We'll see if it's from this project or some other new fresh ideas.
At your time. Now, how can our readers and our viewers find you, find the film, social media, websites? What?
Instagram's probably the best bet. I'm on Ashley Tabatabai, which is hard to spell, but I'm sure we can caption it down there somewhere. The short film is on Hamdardi Film as well, so that's probably the best place to find myself in the short if you want to follow what's happening in both our worlds.
Today is our website. Hollywood Times Official is our YouTube channel. And I can't thank you enough again for taking the time. And hopefully, maybe we can meet in person at some film festival down the line.
Amazing.
That'd be
Thank you
great.
so much, Valerie.
Thank you so much.